Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Does My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vicki.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met at a training, and our secret sauce is that we and our partners became fast friends. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for couples therapy. If something you hear in this podcast stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com to leave a question of your own. Here's today's question. Why doesn't my partner ever tell me what upsets him? My partner is great at listening to my concerns, insecurities, answering my question, and being forgiving when I mess up big. He apologizes and generally adjusts the behavior that's upset me, which sounds like pure bliss. But I'm concerned that he doesn't express any issues that he has with me. And when I ask if there's something that he'd like me to change, he says he just wants to make me happy. If I were a selfish person, this would be great, but I want to give too. I have this vision of him talking about this after we break up, where he has a laundry list of things that he'd never shared with me that I could have fixed. Thanks so much. I love the podcast. I love this question.
Me too.
Like,
I have so many theories.
Love this question.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Not theories, I shouldn't say
here's the thing. I usually go, I love this question. And both you two immediately said, I love this question, which is very rare. I'm super excited to hear what you have to say. I'm going to shut up.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, it's like this person is already doing the U-turn. You know, like we're talking about this all the time. And so they're already like, I want to know what I could shift. I want it like, I want to know how I can give. How could I be the one who like makes something better for my partner? I think that's just like such an interesting place to come with a question from, right? So this person is wanting to know why their partner doesn't ever tell them what upsets them, but they're asking it from a place of like, because if they told me what upset them, then that would give me an opportunity to shift.
Yeah, so they're looking for the opportunity.
Yeah. So to the person who's asking the question, my first thing to say is like, have you thought about phrasing it that way?
Oh,
right? Like, have you thought about sitting down with your partner and saying
and reading exactly what you wrote?
Yeah.
Right. Because my first thought was on the why isn't my partner telling me things? And my first thought was, not judgmentally, how long have you guys been together? Because I didn't have a lot of stuff at the beginning. I don't not necessarily. I didn't start to get really annoyed with Gabe for 7 years in. So I'm wondering if the partner is anything like,
it took you that long?
Wow. I'm
amazing.
I'm an appeaser, and like, I think I've told you guys, I don't know if I've made it public, and I'm not ashamed of it. I was very miserable single. So when we first got together, I really was just happy to be with him. Not in like a desperate way at all, because that sounds so desperate. But like, even at the beginning of our marriage, it was just like, I'm happy to be married. I'm happy to be married. And And then things started to shift. I could have been a random coincidence, maybe not after our son came, but I'm such an appeaser. I don't even mean people pleaser, appeaser. Like
I wonder
literally
if
have it
that's
in
a
my head.
piece of it too, right? Because as I hear you talking about it, Vicki, I'm thinking, so appeasing is like one of the many ways that we deal with conflict,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so if the person who's asking this question, if their partner has that kind of system
Yeah.
where they don't they want to minimize conflict, they don't really want to do
That's what I'm
they don't know
wondering.
what to do with conflict,
Mhm.
right? Talking about something that upsets them
Ooh.
could be a real activating kind
Yeah.
of piece, right? But so I
Yeah.
wonder then, is there another way to, because what they're really asking for is not like, what kind of issues do you have with me, but like, what could I do inside of
Yeah.
our relationship that would
Mhm.
like really feel good to you? What could I shift inside of me that would make a difference for how you experience our relationship?
Mhm.
And so I wonder if there's another way of putting that question out there that's not like so conflict heavy.
Mhm.
Mhm. That's a good way to phrase it too. It
I
is very
really-
conflict heavy.
Yeah. But I'm, you know what I'm thinking as we're talking about this is to validate maybe an experience that's happening inside for the person who's asking this question. And I'm really leaning into the book, The Power of Discord. Ed Tronick and Claudia
Mhm.
Gold are the authors on that. And what they're talking about is that trust is built through discord and
Mhm.
repair. And so if there's nothing coming at me that's a problem for you, what's going to start happening is actually either a not building at all or even a deterioration of trust.
Yeah.
That you can't bring this, or maybe something's going to happen. Maybe you're going to, like she said in the letter, he said in the letter, whichever they said in the letter.
I have this imagination that they're going to tell me about all these things after we're done.
Exactly. That I have this imagination that there's a laundry list of stuff and you never trusted me enough to bring it to me. And I never got enough trust with you to like somehow there's like a trust deficit.
I'm like
here
that you're using that word.
I love
that
the
could
way
be born out of this space if we don't risk telling our partner what's wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of friendships that I have where the friendship gets stronger with every rumble we take.
Mhm.
You know, like the more we get in there and we have a hard moment, the more we're like, oh, okay, now I know we could do that.
Mhm.
Right? If we can navigate that, then sure. Right? This is more real now. So I think that like that's, and I'm guessing that almost everyone who's listening, almost, I'm not saying everyone, but almost everyone has had some kind of experience like that you know in your bones. Like I had a hard moment with somebody and then we learned something about ourselves and about each other.
And we came through it. And when we came through it, we were stronger or somehow our relationship felt more solid, less tenuous, less vulnerable after the fact.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of times, just to validate other experiences out there, there are plenty of times when you'll have a rumble and the repair felt incomplete or placating or not really deep, even though the wound was deep, where afterwards if that happens, then afterwards the relationship probably feels even more unsteady. So it can go either way. I totally get how conflict can lead to things feeling shakier. And what the research is looking like.
It's pushing towards
saying yes to discord. And here's the other thing, and I really want us to really take this piece in. It doesn't mean fixing everything. So what is actually being shown is it's about a third. So a third of the time we're getting along great. 2/3 of the time we are not getting along great. By the way,
that's kind of big.
This is a solid relationship.
I want people to, I want people to hear that.
This is a really important
but you
statistic.
only need it to be good enough. One third of the time.
Right. Yeah. So we're kind of in sync. We feel in tune with each other. Things are humming along well. We feel intimate moments and connected and they go great. That's about a third of the time. 2/3 of the time, things are going poorly. Now, to build up trust, it takes a combination of 1/3. So half of that time, 1/3 is with repair, or at least a repair attempt.
Mm-hmm.
And the other half of that time gets ignored completely, and that's just fine. Totally. So if you have that magic combination of a third, so a third misattunement, no repair, a third misattunement with a repair, and a third attunement. If you have that magic combo, turns out people feel very solid
Secure.
in both themselves and their ability to handle hard things and in the relationship.
But here's the thing, in the repair third, in that third, and I think this is really big, the thing that's needed is the attempt towards repair.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Even if it's not.
Some of the time you're going to actually have a repair. It's going to go really well. Some of the time it's going to be, oh, crap. I noticed that didn't go so good. Is there something we could have done better? I don't know. But thanks for asking.
And
Like
or
that-
or
and
it
that
could
could be
even
enough.
go,
Yeah.
no, play that out with me again.
Yeah, yeah.
This would
Okay.
also count as a repair attempt.
All right.
And it would be fine. Okay, here you go. Go ahead. Pretend we got into it and you go, that got us.
Oh, yeah, that just felt like, I'm sorry. That didn't feel good. Can we try again?
I hear you. I really don't want to talk about it anymore.
But see,
That is
right
still
there, that's
a
still an
repair
repair
attempt.
attempt. Because
It's
what did
still a
we do?
repair
We
attempt.
acknowledged that there was a mismatch. We acknowledged that, oh, that didn't go so good. And there was acknowledgement about it. That's
Yeah.
That's what's needed.
And I'm not saying that feels good.
Right. 'Cause
Nope.
I was just going to say, there's
No,
no,
no, no.
way that Rebecca's okay with Jules going, no, I really don't want to.
Well, I don't know. She may be
But I
fine
might
with it.
need to like sit with myself a little
Yeah.
and go like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
she doesn't want to talk to me about it. All right, well.
That's what I mean.
But if I keep poking at her at this point, and she's
Which
just
I
told
would
me
do.
she doesn't want to talk about it, if I keep poking at her, we're probably going to have an explosion.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I did give her a provocative no.
Yeah,
A non-provocative no would look like, oh, babe, it's like 10 p.m. I really don't want to work through it right now. I'm so tired. Can we let this one go?
That's very different.
So now I gave her a
To
non-provocative
hear it on the
no.
outside. I can't speak for Rebecca on the receiving end, but to
Well,
hear
how
on
was
on
it?
the
What was it
outside-
like to receive that?
Oh, it was nice. But I was sitting here actually in another moment thinking about like the reason that I was actually okay with the last one. But that has more to do with my nervous system than anything else and is not really here or
And
there.
all about growth and loveliness. Yeah, totally. So even the provocative no didn't get her riled. She's been doing a lot of work lately. It's been great.
Well done, because the provocative no got me riled.
But the
not good at all.
non-provocative no did not for you, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah. So if you want to help your partner out a little bit, you can always give a non-provocative no. But what we're saying here is all of these are repair attempts. And it's the repair attempt that counts as the full 1/3, not successful repair. So I think a lot of times some of the science has gotten out there, and as we share the science, it gets diluted a bit and simplified a bit. And so what I hear out there is mismatch is fine. We just have to repair. And then I get worried. I get worried that people are thinking I have to repair every single mismatch or else our relationship won't be healthy.
Because then it reminds
I'm
me of
using
like
air quotes with my fingers.
air
when I
quotes.
say
It reminds
that.
me of the thing that my grandparents used to say when I was growing up, like the secret to a healthy relationship is to never go to bed upset.
Oh, I hate that one.
I do too. I totally hate it. Because I used to think like, no, okay, so that meant that now we have to like milk it and like stay engaged and we literally can't close our eyes and go to sleep until we figure this out. But truthfully, sometimes it's the sleep that helps us figure it out. Like we need to rest and take a break and disengage. And that's pretty much what I heard you asking for in that mock repair attempt we did, right? Was like, I need to disengage from this right now. And I think we need to remind folks that asking for what you need is like so incredibly important.
Yeah.
And if you come to your partner and say something like, help me figure this out with you, and they tell you like, what I need is space, right? On some level, even though that might be hard to take in, right? On some level, it's also like, let's celebrate them letting you know what they need.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've started to celebrate that when I hate to rat him out, but my wonderful husband Gabriel cannot take a time out. He just, those words are never going to come out of his mouth. And I've opted to hear his provocative withdrawal as a timeout instead and give him the space he's asking for.
Oh, that's
so when he's like, and I think this has come up on previous podcasts where he goes like, I'm done. And one time I was like, you don't get to be done. And then he went, okay, time out. And I was like, rats, you get to take a time out. And I really did do that in front of him. I was like, dang it.
Oh, so he did take a time out.
He did. That was like 3 years ago. But one time he's ever used the words. But for real, now when he does like the I'm done or I can't or whatever, I literally rewired in my head and go, okay, this is like,
that's his timeout.
That's his timeout. And I'm going to give it to him. And I mean, I'm not always in that brain space. I'll admit it. Sometimes I do lash out back, but sometimes I really do go like, okay, I'm going to let you have that space if I can get there too. So
yeah.
People ask for space in different ways.
Totally. So here we are encouraging Discord to build trust.
And we're totally encouraging Discord. I just want to replug the book, The Power of Discord. You know, if this is interesting to you, it's a wonderful book.
Yes.
And it's, I think
particularly
it's
for folks who are a little bit conflict avoidant.
Yeah.
It can really help you settle in with how
that's what it did for me.
It can be possibly helpful to move into harder spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, I want to just also name, it's not too intellectual a book. It's written in a really approachable way. And the audiobook is also fabulous. And so if it's something that you might be interested in, it also talks about how to deal with discord, like in the workplace and in all different kinds of relationships, including intimate relationships. So we all really love it.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah. Huge plug for that book.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care.
Stay protected and connected.
Bye, everyone. That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at one of our workshops. You'll find our next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you can ask us your questions?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.
And here are some gratitudes. Thanks to Al Huberman, our sound editor and podcast production magic maker.
Thanks to every one of you who has joined us for our workshops in the past. We've learned so much from all of you.
And thanks to everyone who's reviewed the show on Apple Podcasts. Your reviews help others to find the show.
Take care of each other best you can.
See you next time.